stock watches?
Been into watches for a while. I think ever since a little kid. There was obviously initially a price associated with them, like an unobtainium price associated with them. But it was like what it said about your personality, experiences, and I think as we've moved through our progression of watches, it's not necessarily like the monetary value, but the meaning behind them. And since even in the teams, it's grown. I'll say steadily, but it's grown over mile marks throughout, our lifetime.
For sure. My first exposure to watches was, I come from a big military family. My dad was in the SEAL teams, and they used to issue Grand Seiko watches, the Pepsi one with the red and blue bezel, and I thought it was the coolest watch in the world. And you'd see all the guys with them, so that's, as a little kid, that's how I identify team guys. One, they all look the same, and then two, I look for an enormous watch. So when they had those, they made the transition to G-Shock. It was like, anybody who had that watch, I knew exactly what they did professionally.
Yeah. I remember my uncle was in Vietnam, and they used to issue team guys Rolexes. Mm-hmm. It's like, obviously that's gone away now, but the nostalgia from it, what those meant back then. But I couldn't imagine going to supply and be like, I need a new Rolex.
Yeah, dude, if you talk to the old guys, like Rudy Bosch, all those guys, like my dad tells stories about it too. They brought them all out back after Vietnam, and they set out in Indian style in the back 40 with ball peen hammers, and they broke them all. Every one of them. Broke all the Rolex and tossed them. So, yeah, watch has always been a big part of the culture, and obviously now, like, it's really catching steam.
Yeah.
Kind of just the evolution of watches. Not a real particular order, but kind of when we first got in, the infamous G-Shock. I kept this one out of nostalgia for a couple of reasons. One, this is like the fourth G-Shock I ever had, but it was the first one I ever had that died. And this thing died the same week that we buried Nick Chick, or get up speaking at his funeral. And I remember at some point during that whole week of chaos, I looked down and the watch had died. And I thought it was kind of symbolic.
I find it somewhat entertaining that the two G-Shock watches that we have are both dead. Mine's a 3230.
It's a 3031.
A few different faces, but I remember even like going back to SQT, we would put the red, like
it was a window tint
on it because we thought that was the stealthiest. That was the stealthiest we could be.
Red window tint.
Dive in, it's like you see the red tint. I don't have a great story on this one, but I think I got it maybe late 2009, 10, something like that. But these obviously have stuck with us throughout the time.
Yeah, something always symbolic about seeing a G-Shock. You see the guys out in town or whatever, and the guys still rocking a G-Shock in 2023. You kind of know what they do.
G-Shocks and flip-flops.
Yeah, man.
And sunglasses. Sorry.
Yeah. And then kind of over the course, just another one. You and me actually did this one together.
Yeah, it's a Nixon Regulus. Long or short story behind it. I'm pretty sure Mitch that was kind of behind it.
Yeah, Mitch Hall, he's a team guy, big triathlete.
Yep.
Did all that stuff out in Hawaii, and hit us up to do some R&D, some T&E behind it. Basically just wear it for OTBs and everything else we were doing, and just kind of get the feedback. And I wore this thing on for a long ass time. And that was kind of my go-to watch for years.
Similar to G-Shock. Waterproof, bomb-proof, drop-proof. Nothing really crazy in technology behind it. But good size face and
easy to operate. Buttonology super simple, and I really like that one because you couldn't bump it and make it set off. That was one of the things we hated the most. You bump a watch and this huge light goes. It's not natural in the environment. It's always kind of an issue. So being accountable to light sources, always big. Slow progression. Where'd you end up?
So this is it's a Sangin prototype, titanium case, complete test piece with Sangin and those guys for a project that's going to come out later this year with us. But great watch. I beat the shit out of it. Kept great time. The movements on it, everything. He puts a lot of thought process behind it. Makes great watches. And I think they just came out with some knives too. But awesome piece, rubber band. And actually, the piece that we're coming out with will have same rubber band that Panerai makes theirs.
Very cool.
Yeah.
My next evolution is I got through a selection course going over to the command, and it was customary for everybody in that particular squadron or that particular troop. Everybody had Submariners or Sea Dwellers. So my wife saved up all her hard-earned cash and bought me this watch when I made it through, and it was like super emotional, man. Like, it, for guys who don't come from money and you truly have to save up every dollar you have. Like when she handed me this watch, dude, I broke down in tears, man. Like that was like it was a surreal experience. And then when you see all the guys who have them, it's a thing. You're overseas, you're in Afghanistan, you're sitting on a helo, and you look across, and it's it's all your idols, and all of them have Rolexes on. And I just thought it was the coolest thing, and I want to be part of that club. And when you finally could be part of that club, I don't know, it really just cemented everything in there. I swapped out the strap for an Everest band a couple years ago just to make it a little more functional. I trashed that watch. I did everything with it. I don't know how many jumps I have on it, how many dies, but I wore it for everything and never had an issue with it. You get what you pay for.
It's cool, like getting that, making it through, becoming part of the tribe and the culture and environment. I have a similar story, but I lost mine in a divorce. So my buddy that's really nice decided to give me his Explorer 2 and some of the same other milestones in watch fashion, but DJ was kind enough to give me the same rubber band as well, and that's what I have on this.
Yeah, I mean, like for the guys who, obviously, everybody loves a Rolex, everybody loves the original strap, but just for some of the form and function, that rubber strap really does make it. And because we are so rough on, I mean, you see everything we do, we pretty much have nice watches on, and we don't slow down a single bit. It's kind of the point. Like, I don't want to wear a Rolex and take it off, or I don't want to wear a Panerai and have to put it up and polish it every single night. Like, I wear it till I break it, man. I think that's the whole point, is living it, wearing the watch how you want to live.
Yeah. We got this a couple years ago, Rose Gold Yachtmaster 2. It's been a long time dream of mine, kind of based around some work accomplishments and goals. But we set some goals, and this was the first watch that we all got together. Oyster Flex bracelet, a lot of technology in it, and stories. But love this, and to DJ's point, we beat the shit out of them. Started scratching this thing and smashing on doorways, and so I've tried to be a little more gentler with this thing. But it's probably the most meaningful watch that I have, just with everything we've gone through. And
I could stop more every time I wear that watch more than anything else. Like when people see that watch, they stop you. It's a beautiful piece, but I don't know. Like I bum it most of the time, so I'm in tank tops and board shorts. Like I don't really care. You throw that thing on, it catches people's eyes. But it's a beautiful piece. And then my next piece after that one, we got the upgrade to the Sea Dweller and went deep sea. So bigger face, obviously. It's a lot thicker. And we got big wrists, man. Like we like having big watches. Like having a big dive watch was always part of the culture. And for me personally, this is my favorite Rolex. Outside of this one because of the story, but the way this one feels and fits. I like a big heavy watch, man. I like to know when it's on my wrist. And there's just something clean and classic about that black face. But Rolex really does it right. And it's got the adjustable band on it, so big wrist, small wrist, everywhere in between. You make those finite little adjustments and really get it set on you perfectly.
As big as that is, and much as it weighs, it's still really comfortable.
It is, man.
Everybody that knows it, knows exactly what it is.
Yep. You're just a little bit bigger than you used to see.
On that, so we were in London, flying back home, and decided to stop in a watch store. DJ had been talking about this Omega Seamaster 007 titanium case. He's like, it's super light, comfortable. So we walked in there, and they had this one.
3 of them to be exact, because that's what we have to do.
Yeah, and nobody was paying attention to us. This nice little short guy comes out and asked us what we were looking at. And they actually had 3 of these, super comfortable, light. It meant a lot too. I mean, James Bond 007, and we're able to find that in London right before we fly out. The band is really nice and comfortable. And
yeah, if you guys haven't tried one on, this is all titanium flex. When you put it on, it kind of moves with you. But for us, it was really nostalgic for a couple of reasons. One, first trip to the UK.
Mm-hmm.
First trip to UK together. Got to hang out with a bunch of super badass guys, a bunch of guys from 22 SAS, SBS. And really just, I felt so at home there. I call it the birthplace of CT. Just being in the UK, being in Hereford, being in Poole, driving the entire gauntlet. We drove around that entire country, and I fell in love with it. I know Cole did too. And we were walking back, Daniel Craig's last James Bond. He's my favorite James Bond. Don't shoot me. But I don't know, man. We were just walking through, and I was like, I feel like we have to. I feel like if we don't, we'll be doing ourselves a disservice, because when you come to the UK the second time, I really want to be able to wear one. Yeah, it's one of my favorite watches for sure. If I can ever get my wife to stop wearing it. Yeah, that's a beautiful piece. And then started going down the Panerai rabbit hole. The Panerai Bronzo, for the ones who have never put one on, they are super heavy, but that is the official, unofficial watch of the Italian Frogmen. I had a boss when I was in the teams who was kind of the first guy I knew that went on the Panerai kick. Everybody was going Rolex, and he bought a Panerai. I tried it on, and I fell in love with that 47 millimeter. It's so big. It's so much bigger than what people think, but if you have the right wrist size for it and you enjoy the weight of it, there's nothing to me that's more comfortable than this. The rubber strap is perfect. It gets just enough patina on it because it is real bronze, so we don't wash it, we don't clean it. I sweat in it. I'm hoping the entire thing's going to turn green. To me, a Panerai is awesome. And really just the size of that 47.
I think what's cool, when I did a lot of research, a lot of these watch companies started based off of government contracts. Mm-hmm. They needed a dive watch to go to a certain depth, and reading over all the different companies, or how they started. They had huge bubbles. It's cool to hear all their stories, how they started. Yeah, we got a bunch of the books upstairs that really show the whole lineage of it. And, when you see where they started from, you see what the end state was. Combat diving was a brand new thing, and every country had to have their model of it. This is our dive watch. This is our dive watch. And how many of those companies were helping fulfill contracts? Rolex is helping out Panerai, blah, 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 all the way through. I don't know, man, it's super cool to see the whole evolution of just dive watches. So the last one I have is a Panerai submersible, but it's rose gold, Carbotech. Back to kind of DJ's point too, it's the official Italian Frogman watch. Rubber strap, super comfortable.
44 millimeter?
Yeah, 44. I definitely beat the shit out of this too, and tried to keep it nice, but like DJ said, we're always slapping our wrist on door frames. We are not gentle to them. But Minolot, I think we got the last 3 that came into this country.
Yeah.
Beginning of this year, we saw it. Actually, we were at SHOT Show, and we have a couple watch guys and called them and able to take care of us.
Any watch that is on your list right now that you were really searching for?
I don't think there's really a watch on my list that I'm searching for anymore. I think the next watch that we get, it's the meaning behind it. All these watches have such a huge meaning. It's you can't put a price on it. Yeah. So, no, I'm happy with what we got. I'm sure we'll find something for sure. I know there's a 50 millimeter out there floating around for Rolex. Interested to see actually one of those in person, but some of those watches are just out of control. I will say, going back to it, maybe the Rolex Yachtmaster 2, that's it's white gold or platinum? Platinum. Yeah. That's definitely, I would say that would probably be the next one on the list.
Yeah, the next on my list is definitely that 50 millimeter titanium. It's a Mariana Trench one. Mm-hmm. I think went to 30,000 feet or something.
Yeah. Something
atrocious. I don't know. I want to see what a 50 millimeter would look like on a normal sized person's wrist. Yeah. Something about just having a 47 or 50 millimeter. I want to see what all the fuss is about. Yeah. But back to why we're really here.
With all that, traveling with watches, it's a pain in the ass. I wouldn't say it's a pain in the ass, but, so they're not slamming around. We've watched watches of espionage. They do a great cover on stories of throughout the history and who was wearing what. And they gave us kind of the opportunity, one, to make a watch case with us. That they make great products. I have another one too that they fit the huge 50 millimeter watch case if you have one, and everything else. And we tied in part of our old dress uniform from Aero R1 and gave us the opportunity as well to be able to raise some money.
The Third Option Foundation. Mm-hmm. So, a little bit of backstory here. We're super good buddies with Tom from Eagles and Angels. We've done a bunch of hats with him, raising money for various foundations, and he's a big watch guy too. And we started just a group chat. we'd take a picture of a watch and we'd send it to him, time check, and he'd send one back. If he's wearing a G-Shock or a Rolex, whatever he's got, and it became like a daily thing or a weekly thing. Time check, time check. He'd be push mowing his lawn with a Rolex on, time check, see where we're at. And he goes, we should really start a watch page just about how cool watches are and the culture and all that. And I swear to God, it wasn't 5 days later, I came across this thing.
Yeah.
We were like, dude, they've already got one. And he's a case officer, tells a really, really good story, really, really good backstory on who the person is, what watch they have, the backstory of that watch. It really just makes owning timepieces cool. Mm-hmm. And yeah, so the ability to donate a uniform and get a custom piece was just awesome. And if you guys aren't tracking the Third Option Foundation, it's essentially the top tier paramilitary organization for the agency. All the ground branch guys and a bunch of our former colleagues are over there. And they do a super important job and a super dangerous job. But because of the nature of that job, they don't get a lot of support from big foundations because they can't. They can't really talk about what they do. So when those guys get shot, they get injured, a lot of their support comes from within. And that's really at Third Option Foundation. So if we can do these things, and they donate a large portion of all the money raised, and they help all those guys out.
Yeah, I think we have an opportunity essentially to raise 30, 40 grand for them. Yeah. That goes off, and kind of DJ's point, super sensitive on what they do, but I mean, these guys lose legs, get shot, get killed, get blown up, and it is the way it is, and don't hear about it, shouldn't hear about it, but they still need the support that they deserve.
Yeah, I mean, little placard on the back, so you can roll watch bands into it, kind of however you want to get it set up. Fits a 47, nice and clean. Tucks in, drop in your bag. Now it's safe. You don't have to worry about it getting smashed around, grinding up against a laptop, whatever else you got going on. Comes with a co-branded coin.
Yeah, coin.
And I mean, you see it, watch the veteran, use your tools. Like a watch is a tool, and when we grew up in the teams, they would always say, when you get on E&E, if you have a pack of Marlboro Red cigarettes and you have a Rolex, you can get out of any situation. And I'll tell you what, there are countless stories of guys in special operations and case officers who've got us some serious pickles with just that. Just a pack of cigarettes and a nice watch. A Rolex to get you anywhere in the world. I firmly believe that. I mean, you need something right now, pull this thing off my wrist and hand it to you, and it'll get you out of a jam. Like, super humble to be able to raise money for those guys and collab with Watch the Espionage. Yeah, he does a great product. Really, the backstory he tells it's classic.
It's all American made in the States. So
yeah, the Arrow one, symbolic for us for a bunch of reasons, but kind of the camis we started out on. We finally made our full transition, and nobody is using it anymore, so it's kind of a throwback piece. Yeah, man.
Cool part of history.
Yeah, we'll drop in some details, but yeah, those are going on sale on the 25th, about 5 days from now. Yeah. We'll post up some links so you guys can follow along, but yeah, I hope you guys get an opportunity to buy some of those and support the Third Option Foundation. Really stoked for the opportunity.
Yeah, humble.
Appreciate you guys.
Thanks.
Talk soon.